Hi, and welcome to Mediander NFL Picks with Geno. Of course, we're back for the postseason. Tell you what, we'll stop doing these when we're actually wrong about something, like maybe in 3 years. Look, we want you to know more about the NFL playoffs, specifically Wild Card Weekend. So Joe and I have decided to walk you through it and make you look like the coolest guy at the water cooler all week, all right? We'll bullet all 4 Wild Card games, and all you need to do is sit back, pay attention for 2 minutes, and you'll be the guy that everyone wants to sit next to on the couch, unless you smell like me after 12 hours of nothing but coffee, cramming this into a 2-minute video. I'm kidding. I smell like scotch. All right, let's get to it. Here we go. Saturday, 4 p.m., the Chiefs travel to Houston to face the Texans. We're going to start this pick with a trivia question. Who was the last Kansas City Chiefs QB to win a playoff game? You ready? Joe Montana in 1993. That's how long it's been. And don't expect Chiefs quarterback Alex Smith to end that streak because he has already proven he's not a clutch player. He had a monumental meltdown 2 years ago when the Colts spotted the Chiefs a 27-point lead in a playoff game, and Alex Smith couldn't close out the final 20 minutes of it. Why? Because Smith is an everyman, and as any lady will tell you, that means like every man, he will always disappoint you the moment you expect something from him. In fact, if you take away the final 2 minutes of the 2012 NFC Divisional Playoff game between his Niners then and the Saints when Smith ran for a 28-yard TD and hit Vernon Davis with 9 seconds left to win the game, well then Alex Smith's playoff resume is a 178-minute study on his entire career since he left New England. It's best when he doesn't know what's going on, because once he starts thinking about the pressure he's under, he absolutely crumbles. If you don't believe me, you don't need to dig up his playoff stats. Just look at his final 3 games of his 10-game winning streak, where suddenly everyone is paying attention to Smith, and suddenly the guy's starting to vanish. In those first 6 games of this streak, he had 8 TDs and no picks. In the last 4 against 4 terrible teams, he has 6 touchdowns and 4 picks because people are paying attention, and he doesn't like attention. You know why his last name is Smith? Because dough was already taken, and believe me, the only place you're about to hear more dough Saturday than Kansas City is on a Simpsons marathon. The Texans are going to win this game. Next, we got the Steelers traveling to Cincinnati at 8:30 on Saturday. Andy Dalton, their starter, is out. But I have great news if you're a Bengals fan. Their backup, A.J. McCarron, has never played a single playoff game, but he still has as many postseason wins as Dalton and head coach Marvin Lewis combined. Yep, 0. And here's even more great news. He has 10 less losses. Look, it's bad. It's bad because not only is this a game that the Bengals are playing in the postseason where they stink, but it's a night game, and the Bengals always struggle at night. The only person networks regret putting on primetime at this point at night more than them is Bill Cosby. Look for the Steelers to take this game late. Now we get to Sunday, people. Sunday, the NFC starts at 1 p.m. Seahawks travel to basically the North Pole to face the Vikings at TCF Bank Stadium in Minnesota. Although, given the weather forecast calls for, quote, a high of 0, maybe they should arrange it to TFC Stadium because it's going to be too freaking cold to sit there, man. Still, remember this fact, kids. Snow and rain favor the offense. But you know what favors the defense? Cold and wind, and that's what we're looking at here. And the Seahawks don't just have a much better defense, they have a much better everything. Yeah, the Vikings won Sunday night. We told you they would. But Bridgewater didn't even throw for 100 yards, and the rushing game combined for only 84. So here's the thing. The only thing you need to know is Seattle is better on both sides of the ball. Over the past 7 games, Seattle QB Russell Wilson has had 24 TDs and only 1 pick. Meanwhile, he's only thrown for under 200 yards once the entire season. Bridgewater has only thrown for more than 200 yards twice in the past 10 games, and they were both losses. And that's why Daddy is passing on the Vikings, because believe me, the Vikings are not going to pass on Seattle. See, you'll remember that. And finally, if you make it to Sunday night, people, we have the Packers traveling to D.C. to face the Redskins. You know why the Redskins are underdogs at home? Because they stink. And in hindsight, the only reason the Redskins won the terrible NFC East is because they're the only ones that stayed healthy. Dallas lost Romo and Dez Bryant. The Giants lost Victor Cruz, and their head coach Tom Coughlin seemed to lose his mind at the 2-minute warning and blew 5 leads. And Chip Kelly lost the entire Philadelphia Eagles team. So yes, Washington, you're better than anyone in the NFC East. But here's a little fact. At 5'8", I'm the tallest person in my family. Get over it. The Redskins have 9 wins, and none of them came against teams with a winning record. And of their 7 losses, 4 were against teams with losing records, and I'll tell you the 3 games where they played teams with winning records, they lost by an average of 20 points. And don't worry about the running game in Green Bay, because Eddie Lacy and James Starks have averaged 4.1 yards per carry all season. Meanwhile, the running game in Washington has been even worse, as Alfred Morris and Matt Jones have only averaged 3.6 yards a carry. But that's to be expected that you didn't know that, because for some reason the past 8 years, we've come to look at the fact and ignore that black people in Washington running just doesn't seem to work. Ending with a political joke, that is Geno's Mediander NFL Picks. Look like a star this week. Check out the website now.